Hi, and welcome to today's 4 Minute Mark. Once again, we are in Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 to 20. And once again, I'm not going to read that because that takes up most of the time in the 4 Minute Mark. But we're talking about Jesus' explanation of the parable. He had said that the sower sows some seeds that fell on the pathway. We talked about that yesterday. He says in verse 16, others, like seeds sown on rocky places, hear the word and at once receive it with joy. But since they have no root, they last only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, they quickly fall away. Plants that have no root, when the heat is turned up, and when there's no water, when hard times come, those plants die because their roots aren't sunk down into the ground where they can get the nutrients. Jesus is saying there are a lot of people who, when they first hear the gospel, first hear the word, they receive it with joy, but they have no roots. They did not dig into the Bible. They did not come out to Bible preaching and teaching. And so there's nothing to sustain them when the hard times come. Let me give you an example of this from my own life. When I was in high school, I was part of what was then called the Jesus movement, when the Holy Spirit went all through the land and drew many young people to Jesus Christ. Our youth group exploded. And yet our pastor, at one of the youth Bible studies, looking around us all in his room, in his living room, and people were actually up on the stairs, going upstairs because he couldn't fit us all in the living room. So what happened was, the pastor said that in a couple years, there won't be more than a handful of you left here. And we were all like Peter and the disciples at the Last Supper were going, not I, Lord, not I, Lord. I'll stay here. I'll follow you forever. But turns out the pastor was right. Because for a while, it was really cool to be a Christian. It was the in thing to do. In fact, the major magazines, Life at that time, Time, Newsweek, they all talked about the Jesus movement. It was a cool thing to be a part of. But our pastor said, when it's not cool anymore, when you're going through hard times and God isn't answering all your prayers, yes, and when people in school start making fun of you because you're so fanatical about your religion according to them, then we'll see who's going to be left. And as I said, it's very sad to report that he was right, that a lot of people fell away. Make sure that you're not just caught up in the excitement of, God loves me, God forgives my sins, all right. But let's make sure that you're going deep into the Word, that you're listening to biblical preaching, that you're praying to God, that you're getting some roots. Because if you don't have roots, and this is according to Jesus himself, if you don't have any roots, you will fade away when the hard times come. We are right now in the middle of a hard time, aren't we? With this COVID virus pandemic, with being quarantined, with all of the ups and downs of the financial markets. This is a hard time. We don't know how the country is going to come out of this. Make sure you are taking some time to connect with your roots, to let your roots go down deep into God so that you won't fall away during this time. More tomorrow. Bye-bye.